The Joker follows the story of Arthur Fleck, a man who has been abandoned and beaten up by society, a man who has been forced to live in darkness and has been pushed past the point of no return. The movie focuses on the character's inner turmoil and his mental illness, which through the lack of support and help from what he often refers to as the system causes descent into madness and the demise of Arthur and the birth of the Joker. Throughout the film, Arthur is seen as a traumatized, isolated, and disturbed individual who is constantly being left in the shadows and looked down upon. The following sequence is where Arthur finally shows the Joker to the world. The scene begins with an extreme long shot of the stage, combined with an L cut that carries a melody of violin from the previous scene, which throughout the movie has been utilised as a leitmotif for Arthur, or could otherwise be interpreted as his theme. Although serving as an establishing shot of the environment, by placing the camera in the stands, it allows a viewer to see and feel the audience's perspective on the events and making it seem as though everyone's expecting him. He's finally got the spotlight. The camera then cuts to him backstage. The use of a medium close-up single portrays his solitude and segregation from the rest of the world. By placing Arthur in the colour blue, it further emphasises his feelings of isolation and abandonment, contrasted by the brighter colours of his background. He is once again in the shadows. Although feeling alone, the use of the low angle lets the viewer know that he is not defeated. This is a great use of juxtaposition, as he is once again fighting his inherent drama but still displaying his presence. The use of the cutaway in this moment shows the audience's superficial views on Arthur, while the long shot of him backstage places him in front of the colour blue, once again manipulating the viewer's psychology to create a feeling of being lost and alone. He begins performing a dance, which throughout the movie has been a motif to his acceptance of who he is and the actions he has taken. He's embracing himself. These are the first steps into him fully embodying the Joker. As the curtains open, Arthur puts on his last facade. He's stepping into a world he hasn't experienced before. He's used to the shadows and the darkness, but now he has got the spotlight. This is emphasized through the warmer colors and the brighter lighting.
Once the interview begins, he takes his time to respond almost as if he is starstruck. He has the spotlight, he's got everyone's attention, and he's got center stage, a moment he has been waiting for his whole life. Through the use of composition and costume design, Arthur has all eyes on him. The fact that he is wearing brighter colors and placed center frame draws the gaze of every person in the room. Another motif used in this scene is Arthur's laugh.
Right? That's right, Mary. I'm not political. I'm just trying to make people laugh. And how's that going for you?
All throughout the film, we are presented with Arthur's awkward laugh, and in a previous scene in the movie, it is explained that this only occurs when he is stressed and uncomfortable, enabling the audience to perceive that Arthur is not laughing at Murray's joke, but he feels rather uneasy, and this provides an insight into his psyche.
As the sequence progresses, the manipulation of the score begins tapping into the audience's subconscious, warning them that something is coming, creating tension.
A book of jokes.
As Arthur takes a look at his jokes, there is a pan to the right that goes from the notebook to his face. This lets us into his state of mind and how uncomfortable he is in this situation. This is further accentuated by breaking one of the rules of continuity editing and crossing the 180-degree line. These visual cues work in unison with narrative form, pushing to the forefront the subtext of the story, highlighting how Arthur is truly feeling, showing that this moment has been flipped on his head and not going as planned. In moments leading up to this, shots revolved around Arthur's character, staging him center frame and as a bright point on screen, automatically grasping the viewer's attention. But as the scene goes on, we now see Murray taking up equal space on screen. Through the manipulation of composition and cinematography, the director not only creates tension, but visual conflict on screen, allowing for the implicit meaning, displaying that these two characters are at odds with each other.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
It's the police, ma'am. Your son's been hit by a drunk driver. He's dead.
Oh, no, No, you cannot joke about that.
As the first joke flops, through the use of diegetic sounds and a quick cutaway to the band, the viewer senses that he's not only at odds with Murray, but with everyone in the room.
It's been a rough few weeks, Murray. Ever since I killed those 3 Wall Street guys.
Once he admits to the murder of the Wall Street guys, the camera cuts to a medium close-up of him front on. This represents him taking this issue head on, opening up to everyone as he feels as though he did the right thing. The very next shot is the audience's reaction, which has been shown once again through an extreme long shot. There are no faces being shown in the audience, but by placing us here, we can truly understand how they are feeling and what the tension is like in the room.
This is a point where the facade falls and the Joker begins to take the light. In this same shot, the viewer can see that the colours on set are very similar to what the Joker is wearing, and this can be further proven as the colours on the curtain are identical to his suit. This symbolises that the Joker is closing in on everyone and is everywhere. There are riots outside the building, there is major conflict happening inside the building. You can't escape the Joker. The 180-degree rule is broken once again, but this time on Murray. This represents how the whole situation has had a shift and has flipped into something completely out of control. As Murray learns that what the Joker is saying is true, he seeks support in his right-hand man. The camera then quickly pulls the focus back onto the Joker.
It's not a joke.
The use of this next dirty single, with the subject being Murray, but then the Joker being out of focus on screen, symbolises how the Joker is invading his thoughts and slowly overpowering his presence.
You got nothing left to lose?
The use of the side profile medium close-up shot makes the viewer disconnect from the subject and what he is saying, allowing for the audience to formulate their own opinion on the character and what he has done.
The brilliant use of cinematography, lighting, and colours once again enables for that organic growth of subtext to be comprehended as it displays what the movie is truly about.
As the camera cuts back and forth between Joker and Murray, Murray's face is lit with low-key lighting. This represents how Joker sees him. He wants Murray to understand and see his point of view, but the Joker still senses a part of him isn't really understanding, which is being symbolized by that half of his face being left in the dark. Right now, Murray can also be interpreted as an allegory to society. By showing Murray and Joker out of focus in the same frame, it further reinforces that no one really wants Joker there, and he imposes not only on screen, but on everyone's thoughts and society. Both the use of push-in and score in this moment focus on the rise of the Joker.
I killed those guys because they were awful. Everybody is awful these days. It's enough to make anyone crazy.
He is now beginning to see clearly and empowering himself. Both these are great techniques used to evoke distress in the audience.
In his monologue, the camera uses static shots to emphasize and see Arthur's emotions. This boxes in the viewer to this moment, not allowing them to look away. Through this lack of camera movement, the viewer is able to process and empathize with what Arthur is saying, almost making it seem as he is the victim.
You have a problem with Thomas Wayne, too.
Yes, I do.
As his emotions heighten, the camera begins to have slight movement. The decision of having no score and only hearing diegetic sounds from the audience places great importance to what we feel in the room.
Nobody's civil anymore. Nobody thinks what it's like to be the other guy.
Everyone is holding their breath to see what happens next. As the monologue progresses, we see shifts in the use of different shots, such as the wide shot and close-ups. But these close-ups and the use of low-key lighting on Joker's face once again reveals how alone Joker truly stands and how his views don't align with anyone else's in the room. He's trapped within the frame, which can be seen as him being trapped in his own ideologies.
As we move into the close-up of Murray, we see that the darkness has consumed more of his face, meaning that Joker is losing all connections with him, causing Murray to become one of the oppressors.
You're awful,
Me?
Murray.
I'm awful? Oh yeah, how am I awful?
The use of the J-cut in this situation is really powerful to convey the emotions of the Joker. The darker lighting and being able to hear what Murray says while still focusing on the Joker lets the audience know he is at a low point in this scene. The ominous dark lighting which is presented behind the Joker can lead us to believe he is transitioning from dark to light. Arthur's been pushed past his limits, and he is now counting on the Joker to become everything he couldn't be. Although shots in these sections are rather lengthy, placing emphasis on dialogue, the anxiousness and anticipation felt by the viewers progressed by the stylistic form of editing. We can see the manipulation of rhythmic relations by the fact that the duration of the shots being presented gradually gets shorter and shorter, leading to the inevitable climax of the scene. In addition with the slow pushing, the rapid building of the score and the mise-en-scène, the viewer is left in utter suspense. The ticking sounds from the score symbolizes Arthur's mind. It's a ticking time bomb. It's just a matter of time when it's going to blow. Once he shoots Murray, through the use of different individual stylistic elements, the scene brings the story together. Through the use of motif of his dance and hearing his real laughter for the first time, through subtext the viewer sees that he's finally embraced violence and chaos, which has now become part of his identity.
And always remember, that's...
That's life.